liquor show. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Galliano today. So this is Galliano. Galliano, you have many varieties of Galliano. You got the two Sambucas. They're identical apart from the food colouring. And then the Amaretto, which I think might be discontinued. And then over here we have Galliano Espresso, which was discontinued many, many years ago, but they make a similar product called Ristretto these days. It's coffee, very like a bitter coffee. The Galliano Vanilla, which is the most familiar Galliano, to me at least. And then L'Autentico, which is supposedly the original Galliano. So Galliano is, as it says on the back of this bottle, 1896 invented. It's Italian liqueur. They say the bottle is shaped like the Eiffel Tower, but I think that's largely apocryphal because it's Italian.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that later. So I was thinking about this stuff because I was watching some YouTube video called The Modern Rogue, which is these two guys who appear to be in their mid-50s who don't know anything about the world, and they go around
at that age
having people teach them skills, manly skills, roguish skills, like fishing and hunting and smoking cigars. And they have this bartender they go to for alcohol stuff. And every time I watch this bartender, he's like a shitty bartender. He's like from some club, you can tell, in like a nightclub thing, and he's used to opening beers and pouring disco cocktails.
Yeah, that's not a good cocktail environment for sure.
There's the era of classic cocktails, which is pretty much all of history apart from the period 1970 through whenever Mad Men was released in like 2005 or so. So classic cocktails, they're basically just straight liquor, and they're mixed with some sugar and some, maybe vermouth or something. But essentially, the drink you end up with tastes like booze and is pretty much the same strength as proper strength booze. And if it's delicious, it's because of the skill of the bartender who knew exactly how to pour it and shake it and the quality of the liquor used. But the disco era, the 1970-2005 cocktail, those are like juice or Coca-Cola and then sweet, disgusting shit.
With like fruit and soft drinks.
And then like a bunch of grain alcohol to make it boozy. So, Chambord, Maduri, Galliano, these are very typical...
Illusion shakers.
Yeah. So... Anyway, I'm watching these guys, they go to their bartender, and they're like, teach us how to make some cocktails. So, of course, the cocktail he picks for them is the ultimate shitty disco cocktail, the Harvey Wallbanger, and he makes this drink. And then these guys go to sip it, and they're like, ugh, gross, that's disgusting, it tastes like aniseed. Which raised my eyebrow a little bit, because vanilla Galliano, which is the Galliano you always use in a Harvey Wallbanger, is not disgusting. It's sweet and delicious and tastes like vanilla, and that's the whole point of the drink, is you can get young girls to drink 2 shots of vodka because it tastes like candy soda.
Yeah, I always used it in Harvey Wallbangers when I worked in clubs.
Yeah, but L'Autentico, that's a 100-year-old Italian man's drink, so it's like a much more aniseed. It's something you can have on ice when you're sitting outside at a cafe playing bocce with your old mates. So it seemed to me, I'm like, that disco bartender fucked up even his stupid disco drink by putting the wrong Galliano in. But then I happened to just go to the Galliano website, and it looks like they don't make the Sambuca anymore. They do have the Amaretto, they do have the Ristretto, they have the vanilla, they have the thing, and they have one that's like a bitter, a red thing. And they have one that's balsamic. It's based on balsamic vinegar, which seems a bit weird.
Sounds good.
The point is, they have the recipe for the Harvey Wallbanger, and they specify specifically L'Autentico. And they have about 100 other recipes. They have all these bartenders that are giving their recipes, and basically every single one of them uses L'Autentico. And I've only ever seen one bottle of L'Autentico in my life, which is this one. I bought it Malaysian duty free. I've never seen it for sale in Australia.
I've never seen it or tasted it, so...
And, it made me think, maybe it's just Australians. Maybe we're the ignorant savages, and we make Harvey Wallbangers with this sweet fruit cocktail drink because we're idiots.
Yeah, it's very possible.
And the rest of the world, the Harvey Wallbanger is like a sophisticated adult anise drink.
Well, I'd say Australian bartenders are a bit more sophisticated these days, but I guess the days of the Harvey Wallbanger are over, so we never graduated to using the correct Galliano.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what we're going to do on the liquor show today, is make a L'Autentico Harvey Wallbanger and see what it tastes like. I guess the other thing that really sealed the deal, well, the other thing that raised my eyebrow, two things raised my eyebrow. One of them was on the back of the Vanilla Galliano bottle, Australian market Vanilla Galliano, it says, use this in a Harvey Wallbanger. And then I have this 1983 Woman's Weekly Cocktail Guide,
Classic.
Which is like the height of disco shitty cocktail. And in that, it just says Galliano in all their recipes. There's about 200 Galliano recipes in here. It doesn't specify different types of Galliano, but the description of Galliano is a gold-coloured liquor with licorice and aniseed.
Huh. Oh, well, that's interesting.
That's very interesting. So maybe at one point in history,
We did have the L'Autentico.
we did have L'Autentico. Can you pass me that shitty American vodka?
Only the best.
So yeah, I'm going to put 2 shots of vodka in Harvey Wallbanger. Because that's what it's for. It's for concealing vodka. Oof. Might need a...
Do we need some more?
you have a
I have
shitty
another-
Swedish vodka?
I have another shitty vodka.
Perfect. Absolutely, it's not that shitty in my opinion.
It's okay. Their marketing's really good anyway.
Maybe I'm wrong about this 2-shot thing. Seems like a lot of vodka.
I think it's just a narrow glass though. I was about to ask what the ratio would be, but here we are.
And then you sort of top it off.
So you're going to float the Galliano?
Yeah. Well, I say float, I mean I'm just going to put it on top.
Whack it in there.
It's pretty light stuff, so it's not going to stay on top for too long. As pretty as they are, which is not that pretty, they're really the worst bottles in the world as far as actually pouring things go. They're sort of have nothing and then it all comes up on you at once.
They do have a second life as like juggling batons if you fill them with sand.
Yeah.
And if you've got a lot of room.
Alright, well, how do you want to do this? You want to try?
Yeah, well let's try one each and then we'll swap.
Well, no, have you can be the victim.
Okay.
You try that one.
So this is using the
Who knows? You tell me.
L'Autentico.
Use your sense of.
Alright. Yeah, it's not what I remember Harvey Wallbanger's tasting like, but I actually don't hate this, but I'm a bitter and twisted person anyway, so I actually like the flavour, because the orange juice is generally too sweet for me. But yeah, it is interesting. It doesn't really go, but it's alright. I haven't spit it out.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's kind of bitter.
Yeah.
It's got a.
It really brings out the bitterness in the orange juice. Like you can taste more
Yeah.
pith and oils in there as opposed to the sugary juice.
I would say it does do a good job of concealing the 2 shots of vodka still.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's still a strong flavour even though it was only half a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's definitely not a disco drink, I wouldn't say.
No.
It's like, yeah, it's like a bitter orange drink. It tastes, yeah,
I would drink
almost along
that
the
wearing a
lines of,
straw hat in the sun, you know, with a...
Campari. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like, it's a bit of a fresco looking for a traditional drink to me.
Yeah, that takes me back. That basically transports my brain, 15 years ago to the nightclub that I used to work at. And you can't taste any vodka at all. It tastes very low alcoholic. So I would say this one would be the one that would easily get naive young women super drunk. Because you can't taste any alcohol.
Yeah, that's a party drink.
Yeah.
That does remind me of my party days. That's
Yeah.
a very, it tastes like nothing. It tastes like sugar pop.
But you can't even taste like
vanilla and delicious.
there's no fumes of alcohol even. It just tastes like juice with a delicious vanilla edge.
2.5 shots. But
Yeah.
the other thing is, this is 42%.
That one's 30.
The original 30.
So you definitely need the 2 shots of vodka then.
Well, there you go. So what's the conclusion? How's the proper way to make a Harvey Wallbanger?
Well, I like the proper way. I like the Authentico.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when I was a lot younger, I probably would have preferred this one because, you know, my palate was not very refined and, you know, sugar tasted good. But no, I like it. I like the original.
Yeah, I disagree a bit. I would never order this though. What's the point in having a drink that's a complex drink if you're just hiding vodka in it? You should just drink. If you maybe this on the rocks would be quite nice, but
Yeah, I mean, I could see you making it with, you know, just a nice shot of the Galliano and then maybe like a twist of orange on the rocks. Like you could have it just very, you know, raw that way. That would probably be nice.
Well, anyway, there you go, people. Possibly, if you're Australian, you're doing it wrong. Maybe if you're American, you're doing it wrong as well.
Everyone
We're not
except
sure.
Italians are doing it wrong.
But anyway, that's the more you know your liquor on the Liquor Show.
Done.